Today in this video, we're going to work on teaching our dogs to pivot. So stay tuned. So one of the reasons I work with pivot a lot with Dexter, it's helping him learn where his back feet are. And that's super important for him because of his neurological condition. His back end and his back end awareness is lacking. So I work with him a lot on that body awareness. When you teach your dog to pivot, you can also use that as a starting foundation to get your dog into a proper heel position if you're doing any heel work. Like most of the dog training tricks and behaviors we're teaching our dogs, it's a great way to help them learn some self-control. So it has a lot of bonuses. And the pivot behavior, teaching your dog to go into that circle, you can also use when you're out and about. So when you're out going for your walks and you're trying to get your dog to focus on you, it's not just about watch, 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 but what else does your dog know how to do? Maybe he knows how to do a pivot. You might find an object out and about that your dog can do a little pivot on. The first behavior you're going to want to teach your dog before doing a pivot is paws up. I'll put a link in the description below on my paws up video, so teach that to your dog first. When we practice our pivot, we're also going to work on both directions. We want our dogs to be able to pivot one way and pivot the other way. This helps to ensure proper strength and conditioning on both sides of your dog's body because they use different muscles. Like us, you might find one way is a little stronger than the other, which makes it even more important to work the other side. This is another training trick or canine conditioning exercise, so make sure you go slow and make sure that you take lots of breaks and don't push your dog too far. And when in doubt, always speak to your dog's veterinarian to make sure it's a healthy behavior for your dog to learn. So let's get to it. Ready? You're going to want to have an object that's secure enough for your dog to put 2 feet on and be able to move around. This one's a little iffy for Dexter because it can be a little wobbly, especially when he gets his cattywampus monkey action. You want to make sure your object isn't too tall, so just a couple of inches off the ground will do. I actually made this by those square interlocking children's mats. I just cut them to the size I wanted, glued them down. This is Dexter's smaller version. He does have a larger one as well. So actually, let's go ahead and grab the larger one. It has more stability. You want to make sure whatever object you choose isn't too slippery that your dog's slipping around. And if you have a fuzzy foot dog like Dexter, make sure those bottoms of his pads are nice and clean, because if they're fuzzy, they're not going to get that. They're not going to be able to stand on here properly. The same thing goes for your floor. You want to make sure that that's secure too. If you have a slick floor, I would definitely recommend a yoga mat or some type of runner that's going to stay on the floor with like grips on the bottom. Let's grab the larger one and get Dexter going. Do a few practice paws up behavior with your new pivot object. Then your dog will be likely to offer 2 paws up. We'll put the object on the floor, and there's our paws up, right? So in front of Dexter, I'm going to go ahead and give him a reward for being there. And what you're going to do at the very beginning is start to walk towards your dog's butt. Yes. And every step they take, yes, and treat. Yes. 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 You're not asking for a marathon. Yes. And then you'll do your other side. Yes. When you give your dog his reward, make sure you go to your dog so that you're not pulling him off the pivot. Yes. 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 When your dog is doing that well, you can start yesing and treating for more steps. So I'm going to go back the other way. So we're going to do 1 step, 2 step, yes. 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 And you're gradually going to ask for more steps. Yes. Yes. And then change your sides. Yes. When it looks like you like it, when they're comfortable at it and they're doing it really well, you can add your word before you do the movement. So pivot. Yes. Pivot. Yes. You okay? And if you'd like, you can have 2 words meaning to pivot one way and another word to pivot the other way, or you can just do a little gesture with your dog. I've only incorporated the 1 word and a little gesture with Dexter. And what you're going to start doing over time, over different sessions, is start to lessen your movement around. And so if your dog's there, you can go sideways and start to lure this way. Yes. Yes. So as your dog's doing better, you're trying to change your position so that he's still pivoting around, even if you're in a different position. Yes. Easy. Careful. Yes. Yes. And then as you guys progress, you're going to start asking for more steps and more steps without you following him before you yes and treat. And Dexter's still in that process of learning how to do more steps without me being right there. So we're still working on that. And we'll continue to work through that. That's going to be a big step for those that are trying to work on that heel position. So let's go take a look at some of my dog training students learning how to pivot. So the treat's to her nose, and as I'm walking towards her, I'm moving the treat to move her as well as my body. So we're going to treat like this. Good! So that's going to kind of move the dog along with moving those feet. Good girl. And we did it, we were doing it on this side. So I'm going to go towards her. Yes. Any movement? Yes. And treat. Yes. Yes. Good girl. Yes. So again, super. Yeah, she's so cute. Really good core work. Good job. It's also nice for self-control because of here. So I'm gonna walk, yeah, so good girl. So just walking towards her hind legs, which has her move herself out of the way, because dogs are all about space. Good job. Good job. I want to make sure, obviously, that I don't step on her, but I'm just walking towards her. Yes. And she moves those feet. Yes. And the pivoting on the little purple bench. He's like, I know what I'm doing here. Good job. So I'm going to reinforce him. I'm going to walk towards this one side. This is the good side. Good job. Yes, good boy. And as he gets better, I won't have to walk as close, but we're still going to be easy. Yes. Yes, good boy. Yes, good boy. Ooh. If you enjoyed watching the dogs learning how to pivot, please give them a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and you can click the bell icon and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. And if you want to dive deeper into your dog's behavior, training, and care, you can check out my private Patreon page, the link's below. And until next time, remember to pause and enjoy life, and we'll see you in the next video.
Let me tell you a story about the baddest dog there ever was. Sneaking food from the fridge, tearing up the garbage. He's a goofy old Dexter the dog. He's a bad Dexter the dog, the baddest pup that there ever was.